Hi, everybody. Welcome to another adventure in From Adversity to Awakening. I'm so glad you're here. I'm your host, Peggy O'Neill, and today we're going to switch it up a little bit. I am actually going to be chatting with you today about something that comes as very necessary when dealing with adversity, and that is the ability to overcome adversity, which is called resiliency. Resiliency is the ability to respond to challenges, hardships, difficulties, problems, etc., with the ability to actually move through the challenge, to continue, to progress, to move forward, to reach goals. So, all the speakers have been talking to you about sort of around the edges of things, and they're all talking about resiliency and they're all using resiliency skills. But I thought we would just take a few minutes. There's going to be this video and a few subsequent videos I'm going to do to give you some really strong tools on building resiliency. So resiliency is something that has been very important in my life. I had to build resiliency because I had so many challenges. For you who don't know, or maybe didn't notice yet, I'm a little person. I'm like 3 feet 8 inches. And so all through my life, I've had certain challenges that a lot of the rest of you don't have. So as a kid, I had a lot of teasing and uh, name calling, bullying, all of that kind of thing, and very much like laughing, pointing, very humiliating, and it was really pressed on my heart, and on my self-esteem. It was very hard to sort of feel good about myself when all of that was going on. And then as a teenager, unbeknownst to me, I, for some reason, got excluded from this amazing thing that starts happening when you're a teenager called romance and dating, right? And I anticipated it happening and it didn't. And I was crushed, it was just really heart-wrenching. It was a very difficult time in my life. And then when I got into the workforce, potential bosses saw me through a lens of, oh, she's the size of a 6-year-old, and really, how much can she really get done in a day? So, or how much can she really do the job? So, that was very challenging. When I was in photography school, I was a month away, sorry, from graduating, and I had gone through all my years of grade school, college. I even went high school, college. I even went to second college to learn the skill of commercial photography. And I'm using all this big, 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 heavy equipment. And 1 month before I graduate, the dean called me in his office and he said, congratulations, but guess what? Nobody's going to hire you because of your size, because you're a little person. And that's an example of someone that had a lot of inner smallness. At the time, I was not an empowered person. I didn't know how to defend myself against that kind of negativity. I started repeating that negative phrase, I'll never get hired, to myself, and I totally crashed and burned. And I moved off to Hawaii and I sort of dropped out. And it wasn't until many years later, a couple years later, like 5 years later, I started to work. I reached out, I got some help, and I started to build resiliency skills. And some of these skills I'm going to share with you today, and I'll share some other skills with you on another day. So I had to build skills that could help me to move through those challenges. And I actually wrote a book about it. It's called Spring Back: 5 Secrets to Building Resiliency. And you can find it on my speaker page for this podcast. And that address is peggyspeaks.com/ the letter A, the number 2, the letter A to A dash podcast, or easier, peggyspeaks.com/books. It's also there on my website. So it's on the podcast website. It's also on my regular website, Spring Back. There's a free version, which is a shorter version of the bigger version. And you can get the free version or you can get the paid for version. I think the book's like $10. So anyway, if you want to do that, you don't have to take notes. All the information is there. And you'll have a handbook for when your challenges come up. So through all of that, and when I started to build my resilience through all the challenges, and I started to build my resiliency skills, I actually came upon my career that I have now, which is speaking, writing, coaching, and doing trauma therapy with people. So I work with large groups, I work with small groups, I work with individuals one-on-one, and help them work through their challenges, whether that's emotional, trauma, spiritual, all kinds of different things. So I found out that I was really good at speaking. And so I started career as a speaking. And I'm going to tell you what, that particular choice was very big choice. It had big consequences, big results. And I really had to be very resilient because I was getting in front of stages with not just 20 or 50 people. I was getting on stages with 300 people, 600 people, and I even spoke once to an audience of 3,000 people. So you can imagine, or you take a moment to imagine stepping out in front of 3,000 strangers and what they maybe think of me, and how much inner strength I had to have, and how much resiliency I had to have to show up as my best self and do a great job. And actually, at the end of that speech, I got a standing ovation. So I was very happy about that because I was super nervous. Anyway, so resiliency has been for me a real key in shifting my life from sort of being downtrodden and small and victimized and unhappy to being empowered, to being like upwardly mobile, like continuing to my life to progress and to get better and to be empowered and to be manifesting my desires. So all of that's been happening as I've been building resiliency. So there's a lot of benefits for building resiliency. First of all, we get to work through our challenges. And when we do, we learn, we grow, and evolve. And guess what, folks? That is what we're here for, to evolve, to become bigger, better people. That's what I call it, bigger, better people. And we learn that it's sort of like the design of life. Nobody gets out of this life without having challenges. Everybody has either, relationship, financial, health, career, all kinds of challenges that come in many, many, myriad of ways and in different degrees at different times in our life. And they keep showing up. That's what I notice. No matter how many challenges I work through, they just keep showing up. And I have to continue to gain resources both within myself and get support from outside of myself to find the information, to have the inner strength and the intelligence, the wisdom, the humor sometimes to work through them. Other benefits of working through resiliency, is not only that we get to evolve, but we gain respect for ourselves and from others as we evolve, as we become bigger, better people. People, notice and they respect us, and that is an awesome thing. Our relationships get better. When we're victimized, we tend to blame and shame ourselves. It's difficult to blame and shame other people. It's difficult to have harmonious relationships when we're feeling really small, we're feeling crushed, when we're feeling like life's not going the way we want. So our relationships get better, our hearts get bigger, and they become more open. And we get to enjoy more meaning and purpose in our life. We also fulfill our potential and we reach our goals. So resiliency helps us to do all of those things. And you may, I don't know if you're psychology savvy or something, notice that I just mentioned a lot of the needs on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and resiliency helps us to graduate from one level of needs to the next until we reach the top, self-actualization, which is what this podcast really is all about, called From Adversity to Awakening, awakening to the truth of who you are, to your true divine nature, and that is your self-actualization. That's self-actualization. So one of the things that makes us, so there's a lot of benefits to resiliency, and now I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how, like, sort of the foundation of building a resilient self and some of the tools that you can use. Okay, so first thing to notice is that we have the power to choose. There's many things that set us apart from animals, like sorry, building tools and making plans and writing and expression of emotions, maybe even cooking and create certain kinds of creativity and leaving our mark, our legacy, all of those things. But another thing that sets us apart is our ability to choose. And when we can choose, XYZ, and what we choose brings results, right? So let's talk about bringing results. What's at the foundation of the results in our life? Thoughts, right? Thoughts create your reality. I hope you have all heard this before. If you haven't, hello, ding, ding, ding. Thoughts create your reality. How is that possible? Because thoughts create action. If you have a thought, I want to call someone, I want a new job, I want to eat this particular food, then you go and take action and you do that, right? Yeah. So the thought creates an action. Action creates a result. You either like the food, you enjoy the phone call, you get the thing done that you wanted to do. It brings a result, and those results bring feelings. And boil it all down, feelings either make you feel happy or sad. So your thoughts either lead to a happy life or a sad life, mad life, right? So if we can control or we can choose thoughts that are positive, then we have a much better chance at having positive outcome. So one of my favorite literature characters is Peter Pan. And I like Peter Pan because he's all about joy and the flying, right? So he flies and he teaches the children to fly. And how? He says, think happy thoughts and up you'll go, right? So thinking happy thoughts can really help us to have an elevated and empowered point of view, personality, a persona that will help us to get through the challenges. So when challenges come, the first thing that we do is we like collapse and like we're like, this sucks and I can't do this and oh my God, it's too hard, and we get small inside and we get worried and we get full of self-doubt and we just sort of splatter on the floor, depending on somebody, big challenges, cancer, bankruptcy, getting fired from your job when you have a family to support. These big challenges tend to like really knock us down. And this is when we have to be really focused on the positive things for us to not go into victimhood. And one of the little things, one aphorism that I love that can really help, little tool, the four most powerful words in the English language when you put them together. I can do it. So let's say it together. I can do it. One more time. I can do it. Yes. So when those big challenges or small challenges come, if you say to yourself, this is hard, I acknowledge that, really sucks, I really need support here, I'm really feeling bad, but this situation is here to help me to grow and I can do it. This can be really such an amazing thing. So other thing that you can do to choose positive thoughts is to focus on the positive, focus on the positive thoughts, focus on solutions, focus on what's working, not on what's not working. Focus on what you can change, focus on your strengths and wins, focus on the opportunities that are opening to you, focus on supportive and uplifting people, focus on what you do know, focus on what you can give, and focus on happy memories. It's another really great thing. I use it in one of my creations through my speaking career has been to create a phone app that teaches people to use acupressure tapping to release stress and overcome trauma. And one of the tools that we use that's very cornerstone in that practice is happy memories. And you can go to tapforjoy.com and or go to look it up in your phone app. It's on Apple. It's only on Apple. I don't have an Android version of it yet. You can look it up, and it's a it's a, what do you call that? Anyway, it teaches you how to do the tapping. It's free. There's some upgrades that you can get so that you can get more information. You can get breathing and all kinds of stress release techniques inside the app. So I also had an experience. So you can use the tap for joy. It's great. They use happy memories, but I used the technique of happy memories recently when I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital twice over the last 2 months, and I just I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to watch TV, listen to anything. I just was sick and I didn't feel well. And I had my eyes closed most of the time. I wasn't sleeping much. And so what I would do would be visit sort of topics of happy memories that I had. And when I would pick a topic like swimming with dolphins or eating lobster on my birthday or hanging out with my best friend from grade school or going to my favorite beach in Hawaii where I used to live. So many, all of those had plethora of positive memories, happy memories. And so I just say one of the topics, I have my eyes closed, and all of a sudden a slideshow would like start going in my mind, and I just like started smiling. I felt so happy in my heart. I mean, my body was not happy, but I was happy. So that was really great. So our thoughts create our reality. So if you want to test this for a moment, just think about a decision that you've made in your life, a big decision. Maybe you decided to get married or have children or get a new job, or you decided you wanted a raise. And so you did something to create some change around that. Or maybe you wanted to make a big meal for your friends. So, it doesn't have to be like the big challenge, like getting a new job. It could be like, maybe even what book to read this week. So when you make a decision and it starts with a thought, right? I want to eat ice cream. I want to call that friend. I want to get a raise. I want to write a book, whatever it is. I want to drive a car, whatever it is. There's results that come right from those thoughts, and you take some action and the results, and then there's feelings. We talked about that already. So, but I want you to think of a decision that you made and the result that you got. So if you decided to have children, right, there's a big result there, right? And a lot of really wonderful experiences, a lot of really challenging experiences. You want to get a new job, same thing, maybe some really great stuff, maybe some really hard stuff. So there are results that come, and things change because of the thoughts and the decisions that we make. So just think of how much changed because of that one decision, because of that one thought, right? And how much it changed your reality. Yeah. So that's sort of proof in the pudding for you, right? So another thing, so we have positive mindset, we have the aphorism, I can do it, and we have focusing on positive. Another really key point for sustaining a positive mindset is distinguishing between what you can and cannot change. So I learned this lesson the hard knocks way. I'll tell you a story. I was with my spiritual teacher in the Diamond Approach, and I was working one-on-one with him. And I'd been working with him for a couple, maybe 2, 3 years. And usually I was in there boo-hooing about my life. I was not an empowered person at the time. I was really actually I came to the Diamond Approach because my life was too painful to go on and I needed some support. So anyway, I'm sitting there with him, I'm telling him some story, and I'm boo-hooing and crying, and he said, Peggy, it seems to me like you're investing in a fantasy. You have a fantasy that one day you're going to wake up and 5'6" and all your problems are going to be gone. And, you know, probably not going to happen. And your batting average would probably be a lot better if you focused on the things that you can change. And the things that you can change are like your mindset, like your self-image, like your identity, like how you respond to certain situations, beliefs that you have. I mean, there's like the list can go on and on and on. And so I went, when he said that to me, it was sort of like getting a bucket of ice poured on my head. I was shocked. I was embarrassed. I never even admitted to myself, but I could see in that moment that it was true. And I said to him very timidly, "You're right." And I went home and I thought about the ways that I could change what I could change. And he and I worked together, and step by step, I went along, and actually a lot of changes came. The most significant one is my self-identity, to know that between the difference between knowing that thinking my old identity was something's wrong with me, and my now identity, being more awakened, is that I'm an expression of divine intelligence, and amazing. So, we all are, right? Because we're all an expressions of divine intelligence. Okay, so discerning between what you can change and what you can't change. And you may have heard an aphorism that is devoted to this particular truth in life. It's called the Serenity Prayer. And I'll read it for you now. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you very much. Whoever made that up, I don't know. So, one more thing I'm going to leave you with today is, actually, I'm going to share with you one more foundational thing that you can do to build resiliency. And we're going to have a little meditation afterwards, okay? So, the last thing comes from the Bhagavad Gita. It's something that Arjuna says to Krishna on the battlefield, and the whole story boils down to a couple of words, which are established in being, perform action. So, what does that mean? It means when you come to the place where you're completely connected to your true self, your beingness, that part of you that's other dimensional, that's bigger than your body, is as big as life, and it fills you with things like courage and confidence, wisdom, love, compassion. That when you are connected with that part of yourself, you are most likely and supported in taking action that will bring the highest result. So, established in being, perform action. It's another really beautiful and very powerful uh, tool to be more resilient, because as the challenges come, and the more you can stay established in your true nature and your awakened self, the more likely you are to make the choices that will bring breakthrough and overcome and progress and celebration. Don't forget that part. Okay, so now we're going to do a little meditation, and that's going to help you to come to this place of established in being. So if you would downcast your eyes or close your eyes and just sit comfortably, let's take a couple of deep breaths together. Another one. Okay. So now what I want you to do is visualize a infinity sign, horizontal, inside your head, going from your right ear to your left ear, and the center of the sort of eight figure is going in the center of your head in your pineal gland. So we're going to visualize golden white light moving around the form of infinity sign inside your head. So just take a couple of deep breaths and just experience that energy flow. Just notice it. Very good. And then we're going to do the same thing in our heart, from the right rib to the left rib, infinity on the horizontal, and white light, golden light moving around, sign of the infinity. And just let that motion continue with what's going on up in the head, and just be with all of that. Sorry about the dings. Okay, so staying with your eyes closed or downcast, On the left side, we're going to bring all of our misgivings about ourselves to the left side. Failures, resentments, times when you felt you didn't matter or you weren't enough, or ways that people criticized you or judged you, or things that you've done that you felt were wrong. So we're going to bring all of that on the left side. Okay, take a deep breath in and just see it in front of you, witness it. On the right side, now we're going to switch to all of the positive experience of yourself. Things people compliment you for, your wins, your strengths, all of the love you've given in the world, all the love you experience in the world, all of your celebrations, all of your friends, all of your family. Okay, so we're going to see all that kind of party situation over here, and the positive side, the negative side on the left. Okay, so now what's going to happen, we're just going to witness those both. I want you to put your hands, you can look in the, open your eyes to look at the camera, put your hands on the side of your head, or actually let's put them down here by our shoulders, and we're going to slowly bring their hands together. So you can close your eyes again and just slowly start to squish that infinity sign in your head and in your heart simultaneously. We're just going to shrink it down, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it, shrink it smaller and smaller until your hands touch and there is just space. There is just beingness. They just come into a place of our true being. We don't have the duality flailing around, throwing us around like a little ball in a rough ocean. Just being in our center. Take a deep breath in. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself be it. And then slowly open your eyes, sustaining that sense of inner being. Established in being, perform action. Yeah, so that exercise, that little meditation, you can do it in a couple of seconds if you want. Just imagine the duality shrinking down and coming into the sense of center. So that's a tool for you to build resiliency. So we talked about a lot of things today. We talked about how we really need resiliency now. There's so many challenges in the world. We need resiliency to have a fulfilling life, to work through the challenges, to grow and to fulfill our potential. Talked about how thoughts create our reality, and we need to focus on the positive mindset. We talked about focusing on the positive, and I forgot to talk about you about letting go of the negative, turning off the negative people, turning off the anxious and fearful generating media, putting your attention on positive things, inspirational things, uplifting, funny things even. And we talked about the power of the aphorism, I can do it. And we talked about the power of distinguishing between what you can and cannot change. All of these are great resiliency tools, also established in being, perform action. So, my friends, you have lots of tools now, a lot of understanding about how to work through the adversity in your life so that you can awaken more fully to your true self. So thank you for being with me. I look forward to bringing you more info on building resiliency in a subsequent episode of From Adversity to Awakening. Thank you for joining me, and let's just see who our next awesome guest is. Okay, you guys, take care.